Happening now at 5 new protests over Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's visit to D.C. Outside the White House, pro-Palestinian protesters dumping gallons of fake blood while calling for Netanyahu to be arrested.
Meanwhile, inside the White House, President Biden met with the Israeli Prime Minister. You can see some of the photos here. It's the first time the pair has met face-to-face since the war with Hamas started back on October 7th. There is pressure on both the U.S. and Israel to come up with an end game to this 9-month war. Our Rafael Sanchez-Cruz has been following these protesters all day today. And Rafa, what are you seeing right now?
Yeah, Lorenzo, so right now the roads around the White House are back open, and you can still see some lingering protesters here in front of Lafayette Square, but the majority of people you see behind me are just tourists that are enjoying Washington, D.C. Today we did not see any statues being destroyed. We did not see any flag burning. What we did see is that blood that you mentioned. You can still see some of the staining that's left behind here on the roadway. They said to symbolize the blood that's been shed in Gaza. Now, yesterday we saw those violent clashes between police and protesters. Today we saw a lot more fights between the groups gathered here near Lafayette Square. Today, different groups with different ideologies were all gathered in the same place, which led to shouting matches and people getting in each other's faces. We saw DC police break up several of these clashes throughout the day. I actually was speaking to Abi Volkovich, who says he's a soldier for the Israel Defense Forces, and you can see how our conversation was interrupted. A lot of what we saw today. Let's take a look.
Some of us served in the IDF, some of us have been serving right now as reservists, and it's important for us to share the reality because, as you see here, there's so many lies and so many extremist visualization with bloodied hands, a lot of blood on babies' hands.
My friend, why are you talking to me?
I'm trying to have a conversation here with a reporter. See, as you can see, people are trying to interrupt our interview, and we've been having this throughout the day where people just are verging into conversations that I'm having with individuals that are actually willing to listen. So there are some people that are willing to listen, but most people, I go up to them saying, hey, we want to talk about peace, we want to talk about bringing solution to the conflict.
Safe to say that tensions are still high. We saw a lot of those back and forths throughout the day. DC police tells us so far no arrests have been made today related to the protests that have been going out throughout the city. And coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll talk to people about what they thought regarding the meetings today with President Joe Biden, with Vice President Kamala Harris, and with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm live at Lafayette Square. Rafael Sanchez-Cruz, WUSA 9.
Yeah, we know the White House has already said that the negotiations between Israel and Hamas are in the closing stages right now, but the two sides still have some issues to resolve. So we'll see how quickly they can settle all of this. Rafa, thank you.